Thank you so much for joining me for another round on saying no. This particular one is about the fear of what is going to happen if I say no. What if they stop talking to me? What if they reject me? What if they stop, including me? What if I get fired? What if? I like to always go back to my foundations, which are in the Word of God. And the Word of God says that the Lord has not given you a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. That is the first thing. So do not let fear be the force that drives you. The second thing that I would really like to put across as we dig into this part is the fact that you are not Jesus. Right? Things can get done even when it's not you doing them. I used to think that things will crumble if I'm not the one doing them. And then I got my first job and I went in with this attitude and I was always like, giving 1,000%. And then one day a new opportunity showed up and I left the company. And I looked back and I thought, that company is going to close down. It's going to crumble because I'm gone. But it didn't crumble, because this story that we tell ourselves about, how things won't get done unless we do them, this is a dysfunction in our thinking and it's delusional. And if we don't keep it in check, we will find ourselves really dying in areas where we actually don't need to be dying. So reality check. You are important, you are precious, you are valuable, but trust me, life will go on. It really always does. People go through the worst experiences, the worst disasters. Little kids are born and sometimes lose their parents from the get-go, and life still picks them up and goes on. So get that delusional thinking out of the way and realize that life is going to go on. Now, some of the things that we imagine, of course, are rooted in, how we were brought up. Did we have a voice ever at all, as women, as Black people, as partners, wives, sisters, brothers? Did we ever have a voice? Were we ever allowed to ask questions? Because some of these ways in which we are brought up are a root cause as to why we fail to find the spine to say no. Now, I speak purely for my culture and I speak purely for my religion. A lot of pastors and a lot of, the typical African auntie, and I think this cuts across the entire continent, you are praised for always saying yes. You're praised for obedience. You're punished for having an opinion. And I don't know if this is rooted in colonialism and all of the tragic things that happen to Black people, have happened to Black people throughout history. But it is so rare and it is such a precious gift when we can give our children, if we can give our wives, if we can give our peers, and if especially the older generation can just really say it is okay to have a difference in opinion. It is okay to ask a question. It is okay to speak up. I am interested. I want to hear your voice. A lot of people have grown up in environments that have basically communicated to them, hey, your opinion doesn't matter. Your voice is not important. Your view of things is not really needed or even supported here, and that follows people throughout their lives, and they find themselves, without even understanding why, they find themselves basically never finding the spine and the ability to say no to something, or even to simply voice an opinion, simply because the way that they were brought up conditioned them that way. But I think Maya Angelou put it so well when she said that when you know better, you do better, right? So regardless of how you were brought up, regardless of the conditioning that has been running your life till now, the moment you watch an episode like this one and you get that awakening and that realization, then it is your responsibility to start challenging yourself to give voice to your voice. I was talking to a friend recently who is going through burnout recovery, and I was saying to him that there are certain books that I have read, and one that sticks out is The Untethered Soul. I forget the author, but it makes you realize that you are several people within yourself. I'm really paraphrasing because it's a long time since I read this book, but it basically makes you aware of the fact that there's a voice that is speaking to you, and there's the you who is observing the voice that is speaking to you, right? This is the voice that's going on in our heads that's telling us a certain narrative, you know, that tells us what situations we should be scared of, and tells us potentially what we could fail at or what we could be good at. Sometimes it's saying sensible things, sometimes it's saying stupid things. But there's a you that's discerning and is judging and is observing and is determining, right? Like, should I go with this thought or should I go with that thought? And I was telling this friend of mine, because they are trying to force themselves to get back into the workspace, and they're scared of losing touch, and they're scared of staying away too long, and maybe a lot will have changed and they might find it very difficult to reintegrate. And I said to this friend of mine, I said, listen, there's a you inside of you that is crying out to you and saying, please help me. Only you can hear me, because I reside purely, only and only inside of you. And I'm telling you, I am tired. I'm telling you, I am exhausted. I'm telling you, I'm feeling scared and frustrated, and I desperately need to recharge. So don't take me back to work. Take me to the woods for a walk. Find me a mentor who can strengthen me. Let me watch a sermon. Feed me with nutritious spiritual food so I can find my strength again. A lot of you are failing to hear the you inside of you that is crying out for help, and you are choosing instead to let the voice of the community, or to let the voice of fear, or to let that assumption of what you think is going to happen overrule that you that is crying out for help within you. And yet you're the only person who can hear that voice and who should be honoring that voice, right? Someone once said that one lazy day is not a lazy year, right? One moment of slowing down to honor yourself, slowing down to hear yourself, slowing down to write down your thoughts and clarify your goals and hear your authentic self speak to you. That one day might be the most valuable thing that you do all year. So will you please hear the you inside of you that is crying out to you for help, and then help. Say no to that toxic relationship that has you in debt, that has you selling your property that you worked so hard for, that has you lying and hating on your friends. Say no to that sibling that sees absolutely no good in you and is so determined to throw you in the pit like the brothers of Joseph did. Say no. Honor yourself, because you know what? I was thinking about the day that I lost my virginity. Sorry for too much information, but I couldn't find a better way to express this. It is about, think about how you will feel afterwards, right? Whenever you feel like you're forcing yourself to say yes to a situation, you're forcing yourself to go into a certain place, you're forcing yourself, but you know deep inside that you don't want to be there, that you're tired, you feel exhausted, you know that it's going to leave you feeling disgusted with yourself. Think about that feeling and then just do yourself a favor and say no. Right? And it's really simple things like, do you want to contribute that money to that situation? Do you want to? Are you going to feel joyful afterwards, or are you going to feel bitter and resentful? Right? Let that guide you, because if you're going to feel bitter, if you're going to feel used, if you're going to feel, oh, like they got away with manipulating me again, find the spine and say no. Right? Life is going to keep trying to talk to you. Don't let it bang you on the head before you hear it. If you don't want to go on another date with that person, but then you're like, oh, he's the brother of my best friend's sister's dog or whatever, just say no. You're not a neurosurgeon where, like, if you say no to this situation, like someone is going to bleed out and die. They're not going to die. If anything, when you continue to ride on empty and you continue to give from a place of dishonesty and you continue to give from a place of anger and frustration, you're emptying yourself to the deepest level, and the only person who is going to come out completely destroyed is you. Okay. I hope this episode helps you, and I'll see you in the next one, because the subject of saying no is a big one, so we're just getting, I think we've gotten somewhere, but we still have a lot to cover. So may God bless you, and share this with someone who you know is struggling in this area, because I think 80% of life is sorted if we can learn how to say no. Okay, thank you so much for sticking it out with me, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.